Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a field that, well, it feels like everyone's talking about it, doesn't it? Data science.
It really does. Remember when it was called the sexiest job of the 21st century?
I do. And it feels like it's only become more central, more critical since then.
Absolutely. And that's our mission today. We want to really unpack what data science is now, but maybe more importantly, look at it through a very specific, very human lens.
Okay. How so?
We're going to explore this amazing personal journey of someone called Souritra Banerjee. He made this, well, pretty surprising shift into data science. And the best part, he's laid out this practical, free roadmap for anyone else thinking about it.
Oh, interesting. So we've got some solid sources to guide us.
We do. We'll touch on the sort of official definition from places like Wikipedia, just to set the scene. But the real heart of this deep dive is a guide written by Souritra himself.
And who is he exactly? You mentioned his journey.
Right. So Souritra Banerjee, he's currently a business intelligence analyst at Amazon. He's also an alum of IIT Madras, which is, a top engineering school in India.
Okay, impressive credentials.
Definitely. But what's fascinating is where he started. Not in tech, not in data science. He actually started out pursuing and getting traditional government jobs in India. And then made this huge pivot into AI and data science at Amazon.
Wow, okay. From government service to Amazon AI. That is a story. Let's get into it. So first things first, data science. Let's try and pin it down. If someone asks, what actually is it? How do we answer that based on what we've seen?
Well, at its root, it's really a mix, right? It blends things like statistics, scientific thinking, computing skills, algorithms, all with the goal of pulling useful knowledge, real insights out of data.
So making sense of all the information that's out there.
Exactly. Understanding what's really happening in the world by looking at the data. It's not just about numbers in a spreadsheet anymore. It could be anything.
Right. I saw a mention of Jim Gray calling it the fourth paradigm of science. What's that about? Sounds quite grand.
It does, but it makes sense when you think about it. Gray was arguing that historically science progressed through observation, then theory, then computational simulation, but now
it's data.
Precisely. He called it the data deluge. The sheer amount of data we have now allows for discoveries in a totally new way. So data science is that new way. It's a method, a discipline, a job, all focused on extracting meaning from this flood of information.
Okay, so it's this big field, and the person doing this work is the data scientist. What does that role involve typically? Blending code and stats?
Yeah, that's a good summary. They use programming skills, often Python or R, combined with statistical understanding to, summarize data, find patterns, make predictions.
But Hannah, how is that different from what, say, a data analyst has always done? Is there a real distinction?
That's a great question, and honestly, there's some overlap and debate. But generally, traditional analysis often looks at more structured data, answering specific questions about the past, like what were sales last quarter?
Okay.
Data science often dives into messier stuff, unstructured data, like text, images, social media feeds, and it's usually much larger scale. Plus, there's a bigger emphasis on prediction, building models to see what might happen next or what action to take.
Got it. More forward-looking, maybe, and dealing with more complex data types.
Exactly. Though, experts like Andrew Gelman still debate if it's really that different from applied statistics. It's an evolving field, for sure.
Which brings us perfectly to Souritra Banerjee's story. Because his path wasn't exactly a straightforward academic theory, was it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
And this is where his guide becomes so valuable, I think. As we said, IIT Madras alum, BI analyst at Amazon now.
Yeah.
But the start, totally different.
Right, the government jobs. Tell us more about that. What kind of roles was he aiming for?
He talks about chasing what he calls the holy grail for many in the Indian middle class, secure government employment. And he wasn't just aiming, he succeeded. He cleared exams like IBP-SPO.
Which is for banking, right? Probationary officer.
Exactly. And the SSC-CGL, which is a big general graduate level exam for various government departments. He even got shortlisted for interviews with the Reserve Bank of India, the RBI, and SEBI, the securities regulator. These are, highly competitive, respected positions. He had that security.
So he achieved the goal. Why leave? What wasn't working for him?
He's incredibly candid about it in his writing. Despite having the security, he just wasn't satisfied. He describes the work as routine, promotions were slow, and frankly, the pay, after taxes, inflation. It just wasn't cutting it for the kind of life and impact he wanted.
He felt stuck.
That's the word he uses.
Stuck.
Playing it safe, settling for, and this is his term, mediocrity, when he felt capable of more.
That takes guts to admit, let alone act on.
Absolutely. And his action was pretty bold. He applied for a master's degree, an MTech, in data science and AI at IIT Madras. That meant leaving the secure job, going back to being a full-time student.
Wow, big risk.
Huge risk. But look where it led. Within a couple of years of finishing that MTech, he lands the role at Amazon.
That's incredible. And his point is?
His point is powerful. If he, the self-described, typical government job guy, could make that pivot, then it's not some impossible dream only reserved for, coding prodigies from day one. Others can do it too. It breaks down that barrier, I think.
Yeah, it really demystifies it. So, okay, he made the jump. Why does he argue so strongly for data science and AI as the place to be right now? What's the core argument?
He lays it out very clearly. Number one, demand. Just sheer unmatched demand. He says every company needs data people now. Banks, healthcare, retail, tech startups, old legacy companies.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone.
He calls data the new electricity.
Exactly. It's foundational. You can't operate effectively without understanding your data anymore.
And then there's the money. He doesn't shy away from talking about salaries, does he?
Not at all. He calls them insane salaries. He gives pretty specific numbers, which is quite refreshing. He points out that at the big U.S. tech firms, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, even entry-level roles.
Like straight out of school or a master's program?
Yeah, entry-level data analysts or scientists, they could be looking at packages, including bonuses and stock, worth anywhere from 20 to 50 lakhs rupees per year.
Which, for context, is roughly, what, $24,000 to $60,000 USD annually, maybe more with stock vesting?
Something like that, yeah, and often significantly more in high-cost areas or with competing offers. And for senior folks, maybe 5+ years experience. He says it can easily cross 1 crore rupees a year. That's 10 million rupees. Over $120,000 USD, potentially much higher.
Wow. And even within India itself.
Even there, fresh graduates at big companies like TCS Digital, Accenture, Flipkart, they're starting around 8 to 20 lakhs, and that grows fast if you specialize.
And the comparison to the government jobs he left?
Stark contrast. He says those often start around 5 to 7 lakhs, and maybe hit 15 to 18 lakhs after a whole decade, and only if you reach the very top tiers. The financial upside in data science is just on another level.
It reflects where the value is being created, I guess, but is it just about money?
No, he emphasizes other things too. Flexibility is huge.
Yeah.
Hybrid work, remote work, that's pretty standard in tech and data science now, not some rare perk.
Gives you options.
Totally. And global options too. Your skills are portable. You could potentially work in tech hubs like Seattle, Bangalore, Singapore, London, wherever the jobs are.
That leads to another point, doesn't it? The nature of the work itself.
Right. He contrasts it sharply with the routine work he felt in government. Data science demands continuous learning. Things are always changing, new tools, new techniques. It's intellectually stimulating.
And it challenges that idea that you have to be a techie from birth.
Absolutely. He really pushes back on that. He insists that a logical mind, a curiosity, a willingness to learn, that's the core requirement. Not necessarily a specific degree from years ago. It's about aptitude and attitude.
Okay, so the why is clear. Huge demand, great compensation, flexibility, interesting work. But the how? That's often the barrier. How does Souritra address that?
This is the gold mine, really. He provides this incredibly detailed step-by-step 8-step roadmap. And the kicker.
It uses only free resources.
Exactly. Only free resources. Plus, and this is brilliant, he integrates AI tools like ChatGPT as your own personal tutor or coach throughout the process. It's designed for anyone, starting from zero.
Okay, let's break that down. What are the key steps? What's step one?
Step one, basics of data and analytics. Get the fundamentals right. He suggests specific free YouTube channels, Corey Schaefer for Python basics, StatQuest for statistics.
Oh, I've seen StatQuest. He makes stats weirdly fun.
He really does. Simple visuals, clear explanations, Luke Baruz for an analyst roadmap, Khan Academy for foundational math, and the AI coach tip here. Ask ChatGPT to explain a concept you're stuck on or even generate practice problems.
Smart. Okay, what's next?
Step two, master Excel. Yep, good old Excel. He says it's still crucial for maybe 80% of data jobs. Again, YouTube channels like Layla Garani, Excel's fun, practice with free data sets. AI coach tip, get ChatGPT to help you build a specific pivot table or write a complex formula.
Still relevant. Okay, step three.
SQL, the structured query language. He calls it the universal language for talking to databases.
Yeah.
Absolutely essential. He points to resources like Kaggle Learn, LeetCode for free practice questions. Mode Analytics has a good tutorial too. AI coach tip, ask ChatGPT for sample queries, common interview questions, or help debugging your SQL code.
Makes sense. Got to get the data out first. Step four.
Now we get to Python for data analysis. He loves. Python calls it easy, powerful, #1 language. Recommends YouTubers like Krish Naik, Kenji, Data School, and importantly, hands-on practice using Kaggle notebooks or Google Colab, which are free online coding environments. AI Coach Tip. Use ChatGPT or Google's Gemini to generate code snippets, fix your bugs, or explain Python libraries like Pandas or NumPy.
So Python's key. What's step 5?
Data visualization. Because finding insights isn't enough, you need to communicate them. Tell a story with data. He recommends free tools here. Tableau Public, Google Data Studio, which is now Looker Studio, and the free community edition of Power BI, AI Coach Tip. Ask ChatGPT for ideas on the best chart type to use for the story you want to tell with your data.
Visual storytelling. Crucial. Step 6 must be about applying all this.
Exactly. Step 6, real-world projects. This is non-negotiable for building a portfolio. You need proof you can do the work. He suggests ideas like analyzing sports stats, IPL cricket, World Cup football forecasting sales, building a simple bot, visualizing public data like COVID stats. Find data sets on Kaggle, UCI machine learning repository, government sites like data.gov.in. AI Coach Tip. This is great. Share your project plan with ChatGPT and ask for constructive feedback or ways to make it better.
Building that portfolio. Okay, 2 steps left. What's 7?
Step 7, machine learning and AI. This is where the science really comes in. He suggests Google's free ML crash course, Kaggle's Learn ML track, more YouTube StatQuest again, Data Professor, plus digging into documentation for libraries like Scikit-learn. AI Coach Tip. Use ChatGPT to explain core ML concepts like overfitting or gradient descent, or even help write simple ML code.
Getting into the more advanced stuff. And the final step, 8.
Step 8, networking and job prep. Skills are vital, but so are connections and knowing how to present yourself. Use LinkedIn, follow people, share your projects. He mentions TopMate for affordable mock interviews or resume reviews. Use GitHub as your free online portfolio to show off your project code. And the AI Coach Tip, practice interviewing. Have ChatGPT act as the interviewer, asking common data science questions. Or get it to help optimize your resume keywords for those applicant tracking systems, the ATS bots.
That is incredibly thorough. And all free resources, using AI as a helper.
It really is. And Souritra hammers this point home. It wasn't just his IIT degree that got him into Amazon. It was the projects he built, showcasing his skills and his relentless willingness to learn and share his work.
His advice is basically just start building.
Pretty much. Build, share, and repeat. Don't wait for someone to give you permission. Just do it. It's a powerful message about taking ownership.
It absolutely is. Now, we've talked a lot about the power and potential here following Souritra's journey, but it's probably important to touch on the other side too, right? The challenges or ethical considerations in data science.
Yes, definitely. And our sources do briefly acknowledge this. When you're dealing with vast amounts of data, especially data about people, you inevitably run into ethical questions.
That's privacy.
Privacy is a big one, yes.
Okay.
How data is collected, stored, used. But also bias. Machine learning models learn from the data they're trained on. If that data reflects existing societal biases, well, the model can end up amplifying them.
Leading to unfair or discriminatory outcomes.
Potentially, yes. It's something the field is grappling with, and anyone entering it needs to be aware of that responsibility. It's not just about cool algorithms, it's about real-world impact.
That's a crucial point. So, bringing this all together, what's the main takeaway for someone listening right now, maybe feeling inspired by Souritra's story, but also maybe a bit intimidated?
I think the core message from Souritra is incredibly empowering. The future belongs to those who can learn, adapt, and use these new tools, especially AI. You don't need a specific background. You don't necessarily need to quit your job tomorrow.
It's about starting, right? Consistent practice, building things, using the free resources he outlined.
Exactly. He makes this really pointed comment. AI is not taking your job, but someone who can use AI will.
Oof. That hits home.
It does, doesn't it? It reframes the whole conversation. So the question becomes not will AI replace me, but how can I become the person who leverages AI?
And Souritra's argument is that data science skills combined with AI literacy are the key.
That's his bet. He says, skills are the new security. AI and data science are your ticket to a career where growth, respect, and salary are truly unlimited. It's a bold claim, but his journey kind of backs it up.
It really does. So for you listening, what stands out from this deep dive? Maybe it's the sheer potential, maybe it's the practicality of that free roadmap, maybe it's just the idea that a major career shift is possible.
We really encourage you to check out those resources Souritra mentions. Think about how you could use AI, even just ChatGPT, as your own personal tutor to learn one new thing this week.
A fantastic place to leave it. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.